Yeah, good morning to you all. Sorry, good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. So please take the handouts of today compaction experiment. So please open the handout of light compaction or the standard Proctor compaction or standard compaction. So today we will try to cover another experiment that is on the compaction. So it can also be referred to as the light compaction or the standard compaction or the Proctor compaction or the most commonly referred to as standard Proctor compaction. So Proctor is a person who contributed for development of a standard procedure. So that's why, so honoring his contribution, it is named as the Proctor compaction. So in most of the books, you might see that it is referred to as standard Proctor compaction test. The basic objective of this experiment is to establish a relationship between density and the water content. So now, by now you might be knowing what is the fundamental meaning of a density, and you also aware what is the meaning of the water content. So I don't need to re-emphasize the fundamental definitions of these two, but what would be or how would look like the relationship between density and the water content. But when you talk about the density, so there are different terminology you might have come across: the bulk density, dry density, submerged density, skeletal density, so on and so forth. But in the today's experiment, so you are going to establish a relationship between dry density, that is a gamma D, versus water content. So establishment of relationship between gamma D and the water content is the primary objective of today's experiment. For example, if you theoretically draw this relationship between these two parameters, it something looks like this. So it is an upward curve. So each point represents some amount of moisture content or the density. So here I have shown some points. The compaction test was done on approximately 9 number of samples. So suppose if you look at on the sample 1, so some amount of the moisture was added initially and we achieved some density. Similarly, we increased the moisture content. As a result, there was improvement in the gamma D value. So further, there is a further increment in the water content. So then there is a further improvement in the density. So now if you keep on increasing the water content in specific proportion, so the density increases and reaches a peak. So this is called as a peak point. Then it starts decreasing. Okay, so there is a specific, this is called as a compaction curve, the entire procedure, increase in density, reaching a peak and followed by decrement. This is called as a standard compaction curve. The peak point at which the density is highest and the water content is certain value, those are referred to with a certain terminology that is called as a maximum dry density or the gamma D max. Both are same. In some of the books it might be referred to as maximum dry density, while in other books they might be designating it as gamma D max, and corresponding to MDD or gamma D max, whatever the water content is there, that is called as a optimum moisture content. Optimum moisture content. So on the x-axis you are seeing the water content, but if you pick up a particular water content where the density is a peak, that is called as a optimum moisture content. Now behind the peak there is a decrement in the density. And there is something also called a zero air void slide that I will explain later. But if you look at the fundamental definition, how to establish this curve. So on the y-axis on the ordinate, there is a gamma D. But we know the fundamental definition. Density is equals to mass upon the volume. Either mass or the weight. Mass upon the volume. Now, the dry density, this gamma is called as a bulk density. The dry density of the soil sample can be calculated from the bulk density by interrelating with the water content. So therefore gamma D is equals to gamma by 1 plus water content. So therefore when you calculate the gamma D, you are accounting for the bulk density as well as the change in moisture content in the x-axis. So thereby, there is no problem in back calculating or calculating the dry density. But if you refer to any fundamentals of your volume mass theory, the gamma D or the gamma dry density or the bulk density can also be correlated with the specific gravity of the soil solids as well as the void ratio. So gamma D is equals to G into gamma W by 1 plus E, where E is the void ratio. So G is the specific gravity of the soil solids that you are dealing with. Gamma W is density of the water. Now, if you write the same equation for the gamma, you may have to include the degree of saturation additionally. So in the numerator. But when you deal with the dry density, so we assume that it is not fully saturated. So therefore we assume SR is 0. So then we arrive at gamma D is equal to G into gamma W by 1 plus E. So from this relationship we can back calculate for the known dry density what is the void ratio that you are accomplishing at particular density values. So if you look at this equation, for each and every gamma D and ONC value, you have a specific void ratio or a definite void ratio value. So it is not only the density that changes, you are also dealing with change in void ratio of the soil sample. So that is also you must remember. Then you keep on adding the water content. So in order to improve or decrease the density. But when you are adding the water, what you are fundamentally doing is you are taking the mass constant, maybe a soil mass of 2 to 3 kgs, but you are increasing the water content. So where this increased water content goes? Now, as you know from your fundamentals, so if you take out any soil, we have soil solids and we have volume of the voids. So all this added water simply occupies the available volumes. So that's how, if you want to distinguish the basic definition of the water content, it is the ratio of weight of water upon weight of the soil. But if you look at the degree of saturation, it is volume of water upon volume of the voids. Suppose if the all volume of voids are occupied with the volume of water, then what you will get is degree of saturation of unity. Okay, so this is how you can able to distinguish between the water content and the degree of saturation. Now you can also develop a correlation between these two parameters, but which is behind our scope. So for every addition of the moisture content or the water content, there is a definite change in the degree of saturation. So meaning thereby some amount of the voids are either get filled with the water or evacuated with the evaporation. Something is happening. If it is filled with the water, so then the degree of saturation increases. If you dry it, degree of saturation decreases. So this is the funda behind your compaction or the compaction curve. But before that, you need to understand two important terminology. Those are called as a compaction and consolidation. So density you already aware of. So the indirect way of representing the density is called as a compaction. So basic definition of compaction is expulsion of air from the soil solids. So this air exists in the volume of the voids. Removal of that air voids is called as a compaction. On the other hand, you also know that if you take any soil mass, we have a soil solids, we have a water, and we have volume of voids. So if you remove the air from the voids, that is called as a compaction. If you remove water from the voids, that is called as a consolidation. So you must remember the basic distinction between compaction and consolidation. But removal of the air is a quick process. It can be done in a fraction of minutes. While removal of the air takes immense amount of time. So it is a months, rather years of a process. So if you want to remove the water from any soil, especially clay, so you may need 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 20 years, 30 years, depending upon the soil type. So therefore, dealing with consolidation is altogether different. You are no more dealing with expulsion of water. You are simply removing the air from the soil solids. So this removal of the air is done by applying some mechanical energy. By applying some mechanical energy. So this mechanical energy is in the form of a number of blows. Number of blows. So how do you remove the air is, we will initially take a mold. So this is called as a compaction mold. So this is a compaction mold. So the geometry of the compaction mold is shown here. The internal diameter of the compaction mold is 100 millimeter. The height of the mold is 127.3. While above the compaction mold, there are two more accessories are there. One is base plate, next is collar. So here I am showing. So this is compaction mold. So the geometry of this one is 100 millimeter internal diameter and approximately 127 millimeter height. As you know, suppose just imagine I am compacting a soil sample in this mold. When I am reaching to the top, so it is practically impossible to maintain the density at certain depth from the top. So therefore, in order to accomplish uniform density, we compact the soil sample slightly higher than the original mold. But for that purpose, you need to insert another accessory that is called as a collar. So this is the collar. The internal diameter of the collar is same as that of the compaction mold. However, the height is maybe smaller. It is immaterial. How much is the height? Maybe approximately 5 centimeter we can imagine. So this collar can be inserted to the mold. So then this becomes a single device. Single device. But suppose if you are pouring the sample from the top, so there should be some retention mechanism at the bottom. So what we do is we take the base plate. So this is base plate. So here you can see there is a engrave at the bottom. So it is carved out. So into this engravement we can perfectly fit your compaction mold. So this is the complete setup of your compaction mold. So this is basically three parts. So this is the collar, and this is the most important compaction middle device, and this is the base plate, compaction mold and the base plate. Now, as I told, this is the compaction mold. Now I can able to measure its internal diameter and the height. Those are the standard. There will not be any kind of a change in the internal diameter, height of the mold, except maybe depending upon the manufacturing process, 1 or 2 millimeters there may be change, which otherwise this is standardized. Now once I say that my mold has a constant geometry of 100 millimeter diameter and 127.3 millimeter, that means I am fixing the volume of the mold. I am fixing the volume of the mold. So how do you calculate the volume of the mold? So this is cylindrical. So therefore pi by 4 into d square into height. So this will give you the volume of the mold. So this is volume of the mold. Now just imagine you want to calculate the bulk density. You need to know what is the mass of the soil. You need to know what is the volume of the mold. So now by simply measuring the diameter and the height, I can able to calculate the volume. So one parameter is known. Now my next aim is, so how much amount of the soil which has been compacted inside the mold. So how do you do the compaction? For compaction purpose, so I am going to take a rammer. So this is called as a rammer. So here you can see. So this is rammer. So it can be pulled in and pulled out. So this rammer is made or manufactured for a particular weight. So the weight of the rammer is approximately 2.5 kg. Weight of the rammer is 2.5 kg. And what I will do is, so using this rammer, I will compact the soil sample into the mold or in the mold. So for that purpose, I need to pull up and leave it. That means there is a drop of the weight. So this drop and weight of the rammer is fixed. So what is the drop is? The drop height is 30 centimeter. 30 centimeter. And weight of the rammer is 2.5 kg. Now you can imagine how much amount of energy is imparted for each mechanical blow. So I am releasing the hammer. So from a height of 30 centimeter, where the weight of the rammer is 2.5 kg. So if you want to calculate, you can calculate how much amount of energy. So what I do is I will compact the soil sample in the mold. But what kind of the soil I should take it? So for compaction purpose. So basically you need to take soil which is passing through 4.75 millimeter and wovenride of approximately 2 to 3 kilograms you need to take it. So one thing you need to remember, suppose if you take pure sand, you can't be able to compact. Or other way around of understand this one is, if you have a particles of the uniform shape, you might not be able to compact the soil sample. So you need to have a well graded. Well graded means where the given soil should compose of all particle size range from 4.75 to up to 75 microns or even below that, including sand, silt and clay. So that you need to ensure. So when you do any compaction, never ever remove any particle fraction, either which may be corresponding to the sand or the silt or clay. The compaction is always done on the composite of a soil which comprises of all sand, silt and clay. So here we are going to take soil passing through 4.75 millimeter of approximately 2 to 3 kg wovenride. So now I have calculated already volume. Now I need to arrive at what was the soil mass which is compacted inside the mold. So for that purpose I have already taken the soil mass of 2 to 3 kg. Then initially I will take approximately 2% of water content, theoretical value. If you look at the compaction curve, the x-axis is water content. So initially I will fix 2% of water. So add 2% of water to 2 kg of the soil. Mix it thoroughly and divide into 3 parts. Divide the soil into 3 parts. So take a part 1, fill it in the mold. So here you can see it is designated as L1. Fill it in the mold and apply the mechanical energy using the 2.5 kg rammer with a drop height of 30 centimeter. Okay, so here you compact it, and how many number of blows? Suppose if you drop once, that is called as a one blow. So corresponding to the each layer, you need to apply 25 number of blows. Corresponding to each layer, you need to apply 25 number of blows. So first you have taken one part of the soil at the bottom of the mold, and using the rammer you imparted 25 number of blows. Then so place the second part of the soil, again impart 25 number of blows. So on top of it place the third part of the soil and apply 25 number of blows. So therefore overall you are applying 75 number of blows. 75 number of blows using the same rammer. That means you need to keep on repeating the lifting and dropping of the rammer. That's it. So all the 3 layers are the given soil as compacted into all the 3 layers. So now you take out the compaction mode. So take out the compaction mode. Just trim the soil if at any excess on the top and bottom, and I can take the initial empty weight of the mold and I can take the weight of mold plus the compacted soil. So if I deduct the initial weight of the empty mold, what I will get is the weight of the compacted soil. Weight of the compacted soil. Now as I told, I have compacted this soil to an initially decided 2% moisture content. Now I know the water content, I know the volume of the mold, I know the mass of the soil which is compacted in 3 layers in the mold, so which is having a geometry of 100 millimeter diameter and 127.3 millimeter height. So therefore I can straight away calculate the bulk density. Gamma is equal to mass of the soil which is compacted in the mold divided by volume of the mold. So that gives us the gamma value. Next, once I know the gamma, I know the water content, so I can able to calculate the gamma D. So gamma D is equal to gamma by 1 plus water content. So thereby I am going to get the number 1 point. So gamma D value and corresponding moisture content. So here the initially I have taken, so 2% moisture content, that increased to 4, that increased to 6, then increased to 8, 10, 12, so on and so forth. So on and so forth. So the thing is that you need to conduct this many number of experiments until at least you are getting 2 to 3 number of points behind the peak of the compaction curve. Behind the peak of the compaction. That is an essential step, which otherwise you will never be able to see the peak of the compaction curve. Alright, so now I have demonstrated how to compute the gamma D and how to compute the water content and how to compute the bulk density. So if you repeat the same procedure for different water contents and if you plot, you will get the compaction curve something like this. Okay. So once this compaction curve is established, then if you look at your handout, so here everything has been given. So if you look at the tabular form, so the very first one is mass of the mold plus base plate plus compacted soil. Then mass of the compacted soil. So then bulk density. So then water content. So I have demonstrated everything, how to add the water content. So initially I have fixed 2%, then you can increase to 4, 6, so on and so forth. Then dry density. So gamma D is equal to gamma by 1 plus water content. So once I know the gamma D, then again we can able to calculate the void ratio. So calculate the void ratio. So then you can also, once void ratio is known, so you can assume some value of the specific gravity of the soil solids. You can calculate the degree of saturation. Okay. Now, in addition to establishing the compaction curve, you also need to draw another line. That line is called as a zero air voids line. Typically, it is called as a ZAV, zero air voids line. When I say zero air voids line, so if you look at the basic definition of the degree of saturation, your entire volume of voids are occupied with the volume of water. That's what the meaning of zero air voids. Or so instead of that one, if you want in different way, you just imagine that when you are applying the mechanical energy, you are removing the air from the system, from the soil system. But how much amount of the air that can be able to be removed, that you need to calculate. So sometimes this calculation is represented in the form of a air content. But it is practically impossible to remove all the air from the soil mass. Now, to make a small understanding, suppose if you draw the zero air voids line, how do you draw it? For drawing the zero air voids line, you need to make an assumption that first degree of saturation is 1. And assuming SR is equals to 1, keep on calculating the gamma D for the decided water content values. decided water content values. So this gamma D is obtained theoretically, not from the experimental. So this is theoretical dry density, while this water content is a fixed one. Fixed one. So specific gravity is again, you know. So keep on calculating gamma D versus water content, and if you draw that relationship, so there what you get, the linear curve or non-linear curve, that is called as a zero air White's line. That is called as zero air White's line. Now, what is the practical significance of this line is, if you take any point or any vertical ordinate between the compaction curve and the zero air White's line, so this indicates that this much of air content still exists in the system. So this much of air content still exists in the system. So that's what is the meaning of your zero air White's line. That means you couldn't able to remove this much amount of the air from the system. Now incidentally, if you look at the compaction curve, so this can be read as two things. From the peak point, it is on the left side, it is called as a dry. While on the other side, right side, it is called as a wet. Dry side or the wet side from the OMC. Dry side or the wet side. Now incidentally, on the dry side, you can notice that there is a huge amount of the air content exists in the soil. But when it is moved to wet side, so a small amount of the air content exists in the system. Okay, so here this may be because of, so your air either voids are completely filled with the water, or either you could able to remove maximum number of the air voids from the soil system. Okay, but if you look at the wet side, the degree of saturation is almost nearly 1. Not at the OMC or the MDD, but other side exactly little bit away. So your degree of saturation found to be so nearly 1. So now once this curve is established, so you need to report in your results what is the maximum dry density MDD, that is the peak of this compaction curve. Then what is the optimum moisture content, so that is the from the peak, the point on the x-axis. So then, so this is the compaction curve that you need to establish, dry density versus water content. So then based on the knowledge that you gain from the compaction curve, you need to address all the viva voce questions or the review questions. Now this is one of the basic tests for all civil engineers, where the application of this compaction is everywhere. So if you take the construction of the roads or the pavements or the buildings or railways or the embankments, wherever you go, we always do the compaction of the soil sample. But a basic question, if you ask yourself, suppose say somebody is compacting in the field, or say I'm just compacting the soil in the field. For what density state should I compact? That density state will be achieved by establishing this compaction curve in the laboratory. So where this MDD or the gamma D max and OMC values are supplied to the practicing engineers. And in the field, once they are rolling the soil mass, they ensure that that rolled density is equivalent to certain percentage of this MDD or gamma D max at OMC. Okay, so this is a complete about the standard Proctor compaction test. So if you have any questions, you are most welcome to ask me. Anybody has any question? So this is simple but little laborious test, because you need to repeat the compaction, so for so many number of points, or for so many number of moisture contents. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, so on and so forth. Any questions, please? Okay, so if you don't have any questions, so then we will go for live demonstration how the compaction test will be done. So in the laboratory. कैमरा को नीचे कर लेते हैं. You have to make a notes also, na? The board.
So this is the mold, and as sir said, this is the bottom plate, so base plate. So we will fix it up and rotate it so that it gets fixed here, and then we need to put the collar over on top of it. So this is how it has to stay, and then we will tighten it using a washer and a bolt. So before that, before starting the experiment, we need to take the measurement of, we need to take the weight measurement of this base plate as well as the mold, because even after compacting the soil, we will have to take the measurement of the soil in this mold. So base plate will be attached at that point of time. So now also we need to take it along with the base plate. So you need to write down the first reading. I will note it down on the board, and at the end of the experiment you can note it down, but still if you want you can note it down. The initial reading is mold, the weight of mold and base plate. Empty mold and base plate.
So everyone, please open your handout, and they will dictate you what is the diameter of the mold D and the height of the mold H, volume of the mold that you can able to calculate, then mass of empty mold plus base plate.
So we are going to conduct the experiment on this soil. We had oven dried the soil.
It is visible. But, yeah, generally so high. No.
So we had oven dried the soil for 24 hours at 110 degrees Celsius, and we had sieved it from 4.75 mm. So the initial weight you can note down. Initial weight of empty mold and base plate is 4.623 kilograms.
So the mass of the empty mold plus base plate is 4.623 kilogram.
We need to take the internal diameter and the height of the mold. So for that we'll use a vernier caliper. we'll use a caliper to take the measurement of internal diameter and height of the mold. So it is coming to be 99.45 mm.
So just everyone please note down the internal diameter of the mold is 99.45 millimeter. The internal diameter of the mold is 99.45 millimeter. So now we are measuring the height. So the height of the mold is 127 millimeter. Okay. So please fill up in your handouts. Diameter of the mold is 99.46 millimeter. Height is 127 millimeter. And weight of the mold plus base plate is 4.623 kg. So now you need to start filling up this table. So against the serial number 1, you can start the moisture content of approximately 2% or 4%, whatever.
Sir, can you please repeat the value?
Yeah, the initial weight of empty mold is 4.623 kilograms. The height of the mold is 127 millimeters, and the internal diameter is 99.46 millimeters. Now, before starting the experiment, we need to apply some lubrication or grease to the internal surface of the mold so that the soil comes out easily when we are conducting the experiment. So, we will grease it a little bit. We have taken soil we have taken 3 kilograms of the soil in the dry weight of the soil. So we will take we'll start at 2%. So 2% of 3 kilogram will be 60 ml or 60 gram of water. So we will directly start with 5% of the soil.
So just calculate yourself. So we are initially taking the 5% of moisture content. Now we have taken soil of 3 kg. So 3000 multiplied by 5%. So approximately 60 ml. 150 ml. 3 kg. Sorry. So we have to take approximately 150 ml of water. You can directly. You don't need any accuracy. Type करो. Whatever है.
So here the water is already spilled on the soil, so we start mixing directly. So we have taken 150 ml, but at the end of each trial, we'll need to take water content. So the actual water content will be measured. So we will start off with the first trial right now.
So here we have added 150 ml of water to dry soil. Look at some more. Add समोसे. होगा है?
We are adding 75 ml more.
Rapid नहीं.
We have to try to remove as many lumps as possible so that water is mixed more uniformly.
So now the soil is ready. So the soil is so as I told, divide this entire the soil into 3 parts, approximately equal number of 3 parts. So take a one portion of the soil and put it in the compaction mold.
make sure that each blow we are applying, it is coming to the top and we are dropping it freely. So just we have to hold here, make it vertical and bring it to the top and leave it. Then take it to another position, bring it to the top and leave it.
So you need to count the number of blows. This is the first one. Second one is you need to apply the number of blows uniformly all surrounding. So make sure that you are not applying all the 25 number of blows at a single location.
We need to scratch the surface so that for the next layer they have some kind of so that all the layers are not completely distinct. So we will scratch the surface and then fill it with the second layer of soil.
Okay, so again 25 number of blows on the second layer.
weight of the mold including with soil. It is 6.152 kg.
That they will.
So for water content, we need to take samples from three positions. Some from the top, some from the middle, and some from the third layer. Actually, we take three different water content and check the average. But here we are going to take one reading where we are taking samples from the top, center, and the bottom to show to you.
Okay, so we have taken two samples for water content, one from the top of the mold and another from the bottom of the mold. Now with this, so we arrived at the point number 1. So where we know the total weight of mold plus soil as 6.152 and initial weight of the mold plus base plate is 4.623. With the addition of 5% moisture content and after compacting the soil into the mold, we got the final weight of the mold plus soil plus base plate is 6.152. So if you deduct 6.152 minus 4.623, what you get is weight of the soil. Okay, so after completing the trial 1, now you need to increase the moisture content, which was initially fixed at 5%, maybe to 7% or 8%, so depending upon your requirement.
So we need to clean the color, the mold and the base plate and then grease it once again. And by that time we need to add some more water to the soil. So we will take 3% more water and we will take the next increment of 3% and add to the existing soil. So approximately 60 ml of water more we will add to it.
उसको जरूरत नहीं है, आप पढ़ाइए।
So again we will divide the soil into 3 portions and fill each layer with 1 portion approximately.
Sir,
आप लोगों का मिड सेमेस्टर कब से शुरू हो रहा है?
13.
13। तो नेक्स्ट वीक लैब नहीं है ना आप लोगों का शायद? क्या है? 13 से कब तक है? हाँ 13 से कब तक है लैब आप लोगों का ये मिड सेमेस्टर?
21st.
21 13 से 21। सर ने कुछ बताया अगले आप लोगों का अगला लैब हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है अगले ट्यूसडे? तो अभी मॉइस्चर कंटेंट के लिए सवाल निकाल के रख देंगे और इसका रीडिंग आया 6.316 किलोग्राम। 10.5% क्योंकि 7.5 और 3% और ऐड किया था हमने। So when we are actually conducting moisture content, standard Proctor experiment for a soil, then we'll keep on doing this till the weight starts decreasing. And once you get a decreased weight, you need to take at least one more reading after that to form the curve with free hand. Suppose peak at least one more reading. So each increment you can increase by 2% or 3% of water and repeat these steps till you get a decrease in the weight. So depending on the soil type, nature of the soil and particle size and everything, the optimum moisture content will vary. So the rest of the readings you need to calculate based on these. So these are for taking water content each time, each trial we are performing the experiment. So kindly note down. So similarly, you have to take readings for at least, as I said, at least one more reading after the weight starts decreasing and increasing by 2 to 3% each time. So we are now at 10.5% approximately, and we have already conducted the optimum dry density moisture content. We have already obtained those values for this soil before demonstrating it to you. So it comes somewhere around 17%. So suppose now it is 10.5, then we'll go to 13, 13.5, then 17, then we'll need to take at least one more reading around 20. So then we will get a graph. We can plot the values between dry density and moisture content, and wherever the peak is, as sir was explaining, wherever the peak is, we will mark it as gamma D max or maximum unit weight or maximum dry density, and then the corresponding value will be OMC value, and then you need to plot a zero air void line, ZAV line. So do you have any doubts regarding the procedure or anything else, or any concept based doubts regarding this? You can shoot right away. So then I'll take it as you don't have any doubts, and I'll wrap the class up here. As usual, you need to take free readings available freely over the internet, plot it and share it with us. Thank you. So we'll close the class now, right? Hello guys, are you there or?
Sir, sir,
Yeah, so if you do not have any more questions, queries to ask, then shall we log out?
sir, we have to submit the report after the exam, na?
Yeah. You have
Okay, sir.
until
Means,
after the exam.
yeah, means that is before the next lab, right?
No, for this experiment, before the next lab, whenever is your next lab, that will be your last date for submission.
Okay,
Whenever
sir.
is your next lab, I'm not sure about that.
Sir, that is okay. Just a minute.
So you will be circulated, right? कब से कब तक lab बंद है आप लोगों को circulate किया गया होगा. If you have any doubts, consult Dr. Rao regarding that. So whenever is your next lab demonstration, that will be the last date for the submission of this experiment. But for the previous experiment, today was the last date. I hope you know.
Okay, sir.
Thank you guys. All the best for your
Thank you,
midsemester
sir.
exams.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.